A warm welcome to everyone else who has joined us today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jonathan Rodrigues. I'm the co-founder of the Pact and a mediator based in India, currently pursuing my LLM in mediation and conflict resolution in the UK. It's day 1740. I don't know, we've lost track of the online world right now. Our attics have turned into libraries, our bedrooms have turned into boardrooms, and our laptops have turned into offices. We're adopting to this new world out there. It's a virtual world that we're trying to get involved with, and it's still new to a lot of us, and all of us are trying our best to get acquainted with the nuances of behaving in an online space. All right, so since we have moved into a digital space, a lot of us have to work over our computer screens, meetings, jobs, exams, conflict resolution proceedings, and it's getting a bit overwhelming for a lot of people. So our goal today is to acquaint you with some online behavior which might help you out with regards to competitions or even daily life practice or meetings that you might be engaged with, all right? So joining us today are the freshly crowned champions of the Wismoot 2020, all right? The first virtual moot, if I'm not mistaken, right, Kyra and Ashika?
Yeah.
All right, so technically and historically the first winners of a virtual moot. So congratulations on that. And thank you, Kyra and Ashika, for joining me today on this adventure. So a couple of disclaimers before we get to it. And the first one is, I think on behalf of Kyra and Ashika, I want to make this clear that we are not experts, all right? But we want to share with you our experiences, and we hope that it might help you with your virtual adventures, okay? So your feedback and your perspective is appreciated at the end of this, and we would like to hear from you and what you have to say about it. That's the first part. The second part is that, as you know, and as I've just announced, Kyra and Ashika were part of a virtual moot experience. And many of you joining us today might be more involved in negotiations and mediations. So we're going to try and learn something from their moot experience and see if we can still adopt it in our negotiation and mediation practices, all right? So there are certain things where that might not make sense in the mediation and negotiation world, and that's all right. In fact, there might be a lot of people who could use this even for their mooting experience. So we are going all out there to see, at the end of the day, the goal is to decode online behavior, whether it's negotiations, mediations, mooting. You never know, there might be a few judges from the courts also joining us and watching us, and everyone can learn from everyone, right? So, Kyra and Ashika, would you guys want to introduce yourselves very briefly? Maybe those watching you would have already known that you're second-year law students from NUJS Kolkata. And hopefully, if your university resumes, you'll go to your third year very soon. But y'all could maybe briefly introduce yourselves and share with us what are your passions and basically how you have taken this whole tag of being champions forward over the last couple of weeks.
Ashika, do you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So hello, as introduced, my name is Ashika Jain. And yes, I'm a second-year law student as of now. So yeah, I think winning the Wismoot was something which none of us had even expected, anticipated. Like, we never dreamt of it. All we used to speak about earlier was probably breaking into the round of 64. That was it. We were like, we just want to break to the round of 64 and that's enough for us. But yeah, I think it's been an overwhelming experience. Could have been better in Vienna, maybe. But yeah, I think overall it was really nice. It was fun in the sense that it was the first time we were dealing with a virtual moot, and none of us, or like any of the people around us, had any experience with respect to it. But overall, I think it was quite a fun mood, I feel, yeah, irrespective of the results. It was fun having those 4 rounds in a day, followed by semi-finals and finals within like a span of 6 hours. So yeah, it was fun. Kyra?
Yeah, hi, my name is Kyra, and as introduced, I'm a second-year student at NUJS. And just to add on to pretty much what Ashika said, especially for a moot, an entire year of work ends up going into the entire process, which is why even though we were initially disappointed that the actual moot was not happening, we were nevertheless extremely grateful that we would actually be able to have some sort of speaking rounds at the end of it, because you write 2 memos and prep for several months, and I mean all of that would have simply just gone down the drain and would have been really disappointing if the Viz organization themselves hadn't tried to make it virtual. And obviously it's a big leap for an organization to take that involved a million different risks, and we're really grateful to them for willing to take that risk. In fact, the first day, even though like they had organized everything really well, the site kind of crashed on the first day, and so then everyone had to log out, and then within a couple of hours they solved the problem, and then everyone just kind of adapted, were like okay with the delays here and there and everything, and everyone like made it work overall, which is something that we were really grateful for. It was a very interesting experience overall.
Well, I'm glad you guys got a chance to dive in and not just survive the move, but actually come out champions. So there's a lot to learn for all of us. So I want to start off things so once again, before we start, we're going to spend a few minutes understanding Kyra's and Ashika's experience at the moot with a few general questions that might help all of you. And then we're going to go down to some basics and we're going to put out a much more detailed slideshow for you guys with a few tips on how to go online and behave yourselves. All right, so before we start with the tips, we're just going to get to understand Kyra's and Ashika's experience. So the first question to you is, Kyra, is what were your thoughts of the Viz moving online? What were your initial thoughts? What did you guys discuss? I'm sure you guys called each other up and like, oh my God, this is going online. How do we prepare? So what were your first thoughts and how did you start preparing? Like, did you change strategies? What were you guys thinking at that time?
Our first main concern was the fact that we would no longer be able to work as a team, because it going online also meant the fact that our college was shutting down, and Ashika lives in Calcutta and I live in Bombay, which meant that we would not be able to do the rounds together, which meant that, and you end up getting points, especially allocated for the teamwork between two people, which was a completely different ball game given that it was going to go virtual. So apart from simply being able to fend off all the questions yourself as much as possible, since it would just result in an inevitable lag if you were to have to refer to your co-counsel. There were other things that we had to be concerned about, such as being able to flip pages of not only the problem, but our notes at the same time, while simultaneously monitoring time, because all of a sudden there's no longer that person sitting right next to you capable of saying, okay, slow down, or, look at the time, you only have a minute left. So all of these things were extra side jobs that you had to balance while simultaneously performing or like presenting your speech. So that was our primary concern. But fortunately, we found out that the moot was going to go online a month before it actually did, which meant that all throughout that period, given that we were already back home, all of our practices were online. And in the beginning, it was kind of difficult, but the more and more practices that we did, the more comfortable we got with constantly monitoring the time and our speech and the problem and everything else at the same time.
I see you mentioned teamwork there, and I just want to address this to the viewers that we're going to come back to this a little later. And thank you for bringing that up already. Moving on to you, Ashika, I just want to get a perspective from you. What were the biggest challenges during the competition that you guys faced? So the mood started, you guys were all in there, and the round started. So what were the biggest challenges that you guys faced when it all began and you were diving straight into it?
So yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges, as again mentioned by Kyra, was the fact that we didn't have our co-counsel sitting by our side, right? To like prompt us with respect to time or the speed in which we were speaking. But I think additionally, something which helped us overcome, say, all the challenges was the innumerable number of practices we had with our team and say with other teams participating in the Viz moot and, so on and so forth. So something like technological glitches. This is something which none of us had a control over, right? Like either us or the other team or the arbitrators. So one thing which we had to be, say, ready for was that, say, anybody's internet could go wrong at any point of time. Anybody could be shifted to another room at any point of time, which actually happened with us, in fact, in our very first round. So what had happened was, I just recounted, like, I think it was one of the biggest challenges we faced, was that in our first round, all three of us, like the three teammates, Kyra, me, and our researcher, we got shifted to another room. As a result of which, we couldn't hear the other speaker's speech at all. Now, what happens is that in a moot, Kyra being the second speaker, she had to, say, follow the structure which was set up by the first speaker of the other team. And as a result of being shifted to another room, we could not hear their speech at all. So Kyra has no speech to follow the structure of.
Right.
So yeah, I think there was a challenge in the very 5th minute of our first round. But I think how we overcame it was by just acknowledging the fact that yes, there is a problem. That is, as soon as we were shifted back to that room, we informed them that see, something like this has happened. We couldn't hear the other speaker, so please give us an opportunity to at least know what were the points that she has made. So when you discuss it, so like the others also know that at the end of the day, you are in a virtual setting where any of us might face such problems. So they just adapt to the situation, simply say, ask the other speaker to say, just recapitulate whatever she had said in like 2 minutes, and Kyra could follow the structure. So I think things like this, over and out, I think practice is what helps you adapt to these changes and challenges the most. So yeah, it's doable.
All right. Thanks for that insight, Ashika. So the competition goes by, you guys progress from one round to another, and of course, there was something that was a bit awkward, I guess, this time, and I want to get your view on this, Kyra. Was it awkward sitting right up close against the judges, with the judges sitting right in your face, literally? Because it's a screen now, it's no longer they're sitting 5-6 meters away, they're right there, they can see you, and so how do you deal with that mentally? I mean, did you think of it before the round started? Did you think of this before the round started?
We had done a lot of online practices with other teams participating, and that meant there were lots of people on the same call, because it would be everyone from their team, everyone from our team, plus our coaches of both respective teams. So we were already used to having all of these cameras up close, and the first couple of times it's really disconcerting, obviously, because it's a completely different ball game.
Right.
But at the same time, the advice that we got from several people, which we implemented in our rounds and found was really helpful, was putting the camera as far away from you as possible, so that not just your face, but every place, including a little bit of the table, should be visible, which kind of gives you that amount of space between everyone who is speaking into the camera. So at least, I mean, like, that's the bare minimum that you can do to like adjust when it comes to that certain discomfort that exists online. And it also it allows you to communicate better, because instead of simply your voice and your face conveying emotions, you also have your hands with its slight motions communicating body language, essentially. And that's just an added like addition to like the way in which you can present your entire case well and even communicate with other people well.
So am I doing it all right now, or is this just too far away? Like, this is better, right? Like something like this, you guys talking like this, like you want to avoid.
But he did face arbitrators like that, do you remember?
Yeah, oh my god, you could just see just their eyes.
Just can see that shit, and then you don't know what to do. So what do you let me pause you right there. What do you do in situations like that? Is it polite to kind of get in there and say, hey, like,
not at all.
I just know how to dress it. Like, do we say, hey, could you push back a bit? I just want to, get some breathing space. How do you handle something like that?
I mean, we never made any comments, because I mean, for us, we were kind of, we just let it slide. It was fine. We just let it be.
But if you were okay, let's forget about the competitions. If you were in a business, and say you were like going out for a job interview maybe, and all the people interviewing are with next, right? All that you can see is their next, or their face straight there, and you just. So how do you handle something like that? Are you mentally prepared for that? What would you do?
I think you would have to like phrase it very gently. Like, perhaps you could like readjust your camera. I can't see all of your face, or maybe say something like, could you mute your mic? I think there's a lot of ambient noise or stuff like that. But I don't think you could just say it like right out.
So like beat around the bush, try and see if they can figure it out themselves. I know, maybe the video quality is not great. Would you want to shift your camera or something like that? I guess. But I like the point you bring up there, where you say practice makes perfect. Like, you guys did a lot of practice sessions, so you did get on this. You try to mentally prepare yourself what's coming ahead. And I think that's a very good point, because this is not only relevant to people who are going to competitions right now, but a lot of court cases are going online right now, and lawyers have to face judges and arbitrators right up front there, and it could be even challenging for them. Do you think this is relevant for even professionals today?
Definitely it is.
Do you want to take it, Kyra?
No, you take it, Ashika.
All right. So I think, yeah, why not? As in, this virtual setting is as applicable to real life settings also. In fact, we are having court hearings over WhatsApp and other platforms even today. So
Right.
I believe, yeah, it's very much doable, provided that people follow the basic decorum over here also. Because, see, both you and I know that we are sitting in our homes, probably in our rooms,
Right.
but at the end of the day, we are facing a judge or an arbitrator. So even though the physical space is different, the setting is eventually the same. So
Right.
say you just dress formally, you follow the basic decorum. So
Right.
yeah, it's very much doable, I believe. In fact, it should be followed, especially in these days when there's no end to this lockdown over here.
Yeah.
We need to get back. Like if it means us adapting to this virtual platform, I think we should do that definitely.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to get back to another question, Ashika. So the competition rounds go by. You guys now reach the finals, and you're performing the final round, and you're awaiting the results. How are the results announced? And how weird did it feel? And both of you guys can go with this. How weird did it feel not lifting a trophy and just being? I don't know how the results were announced. So you could share light on that, and then just that feeling of how different was that feeling of being virtual champions and winning something online.
So I really want to share this one thing with you now, since you've already asked. We followed the superstition in our team. So
Both.
essentially, the results are announced on Facebook, right? So all the breaks, they used to upload it on their Facebook page, announcing the names of all the teams who had broken stay to the next round.
Right.
Similarly, for the results also, as in the results of the finals, they were also streamed on live on Facebook. But one superstition that all of us followed was that neither Kyra nor I used to watch the results. That is, none of us watched the results at the time they were being announced. We used to keep all our phones and everything shut. Even our WhatsApp used to be shut, very honestly.
Okay.
Our researcher only, his name is, he watched the results being announced, and he was the one who used to call us. So no matter what happens, even if the results are getting delayed, neither of us were allowed to log on to Facebook and like find out. Our researcher used to call us, and then we would get to know. So similarly, I think for the finals, the results were announced similarly live on Facebook. This time I did manage to sneak in with Rajat's permission. That is, let me watch the final results finally. Although I don't think, Kyra, you watched the finals results also, right? No, she's
I couldn't.
Your researcher was like your agent, literally.
Yeah.
He's going to kill me for saying that right now, but yeah, he was like giving all the information. But did it feel weird to not be on stage, Kyra, and receive a trophy and be part of
I
it?
mean, more than that, I'm kind of grateful that. So my issue was that, as in Ashika and I both talked about it after it was done, was that for us, as we advanced further and further in the competition, we didn't really understand the implication that it came with. Because for us, at the end of the day, we were still just back at home in our rooms, arguing into a screen, just like we had been for an entire month. So for us, calling it the quarters or the semis or the finals made absolutely no difference. Like, so we'd be nervous, obviously, just before, but then the moment the round would begin, it was such a familiar setting for us that I was honestly grateful that we weren't arguing in front of 2,000 people, like how you actually would have had to in the finals.
Right.
And I was kind of grateful about that. For us, the finals, I mean, especially given we were actually also grateful that the finals were given that the entire situation was that the competition couldn't happen in like the physical form. They live streamed the entire finals, which meant that half our college was watching, and it was the most wholesome experience because the Facebook comment section had all of this love and support for our college, as well as us all commenting on our speeches.
Right.
And it was such a wholesome moment, given that everybody was stuck at home all by themselves in a pandemic, and it really brought us all together virtually. And even then, the finals, everybody was watching. In fact, my WhatsApp was just blowing up with messages about all my friends saying, "Oh my God, we're so stressed, we can't deal with it." And I was just like, I can't even open my phone right now because if you guys are stressing, just imagine how bad we are. So but it was ecstatic. Like, I mean, when we found out, everyone was screaming. Like my family, I made my family live stream it from the other room because I couldn't watch it. And I could like hear everyone yelling, and we got like a million calls. It was surreal. Like, it was absolutely amazing.
So this is like, it was almost like a reality show. If you go to see, you guys move from a stage, a more physical setting, into a more virtual world, like literally from a stage to a TV.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Is that more pressure or is that less pressure? Like
So
like
I
you're
believe-
on a stage physically, sometimes some competition just have a few dozen people sitting, and somewhere between 50 to 100 people sitting and watching you, right? That's all that that's all a crowd that they would have, or an audience that they would have. But now suddenly it's live, and there are, like, you don't know what's the number of people watching you. So is that added pressure, or are you say you were comfortable in your own, the space you own?
Our researchers decided not to tell us that 2,000 people were watching it live, which was a very wise decision, because so we went into it not knowing. We just knew it was live, but we were like, okay, I mean, just a couple of hundred maybe must be watching. But it really helped that we couldn't see the comments at the same time, or like, I mean, at least for me, it helped. But I don't think it made any difference to.
So the learning is that stay away from all the drama that's happening on the outside.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the last question to you with regards to the competition is, and this is I think it's a good follow-up to what you just said, Kaira and Ashika, is that you guys are comfortable in your rooms. So being there comfortable in your rooms, it's literally like, we used to accuse people who don't go out and play on playgrounds, and we say, you guys are addicted to your video games now in the virtual world. How difficult is it to pump yourself up and to get that adrenaline going when you're sitting in your room and there's not much attention, as you say? Yeah, there is the outside world going crazy, but you're there. How do you pump yourself up before a round, before an online session?
So I think for me, it's just a matter of shutting the door. All right. Like, genuinely, honestly, it works psychologically for me that way, in the sense that I know outside my parents just wish me luck, and like all my friends were texting and all of those things. But once I enter the room, I just need a minute's time to like just calm myself down and tell myself that, all right, fine, this is just another round. So like just like we've been practicing over, say, the past 15 days or a month. I was like, even for the finals for that matter, I was just telling myself that, all right, fine, there's a team in front of you, there'll be 3 arbitrators, there'll be Kaira before you, you need to go last. Like, I was the last speaker for the finals. Like, it's just another day, Ashika, just don't stress about it. So that was what really worked, because I don't think thinking about, say, a lot of people watching the finals or like doing all of those things really helps. At least it doesn't help me, other than just freak me out. So I was just happy with the thought that it's just a room, I'm sitting alone, and 7 people are watching me. That is it.
Okay. So you're keeping it simple, keeping it brief to what's there in front of you, not worrying about it.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of mindfulness I see there. Kaira, you want to add to that and maybe share with us how you pumped yourself up and kept yourself mentally sane, also competitive?
Yeah. For us, it was a very hectic week straight away, because I mean, it was just consecutive rounds. And before the moot began, it was obviously a lot harder to motivate yourself to get to work, because you don't even have a place to be, or like a competition in the real to like look at and prep for. And having an opening ceremony and having all of these things happen in the real really hits you with reality and says, okay, wow, all of these people are here and they're all prepping as hard as I am, and I should work hard. So without being able to see that goal in your head, it's a lot harder to motivate yourself. But what helped is the fact that we were still like talking to teams literally every single day. We had a different practice schedule with a different team who was also participating in the same moot, and they were from all over the world, literally. And so it was great, because you could speak to these other people, hear their arguments, hear their experience, talk about how sad it was that we didn't have a real competition to work towards. But interacting with them really did help bring up morale, essentially. And for that week in itself, my family jokes about how I might as well have been in Vienna, because I just never left my room. My door was just constantly locked, and food would be like sent in to me. I'd be like eating the food while doing like in between rounds and stuff. Yeah, it got really hectic, because
that's some
on the last,
choice, I would say there.
Yeah. On the second last day, in fact, so the top 64 teams, they did consecutive rounds until they declared the top 4, and we just kept going the entire day. We did 4 consecutive rounds, and they would announce results and say, okay, rounds in 5 minutes. So then you had to hurriedly change, eat, set up your laptop all over again. So it was hectic. But I mean, so during that time, everyone was just in work mode. You didn't really have time to breathe, but it worked out.
Well, perfect. So I think the goal is to kind of keep it simple. But this makes sense also in a practical world, because you will have a lot of lawyers, even senior lawyers, admit to you that they drive a lot of energy, and they get a lot of energy from other people in the courtroom, right? There's media, there are other clients, there are other lawyers, and that brings in a lot of energy for them. It motivates them to perform, especially in a trial setting where they're going out there and arguing. They build up all that energy from people around them. So I think it makes sense in this sense, and even in the practical world, of how you keep yourself in a competitive mood. So I guess for you guys, it was more of, just staying focused on, of course, the people in front of you, and then also kind of conversing with your other competitors who were there. Would you have advice for even your seniors today who might be taking on situations where they're facing a judge or they're facing a virtual courtroom? How do they keep themselves pumped up? How do they keep that competitive feeling going in them?
Yeah, I think, Jonathan, I would just like to add to that in the sense that both of us were sort of low on motivation before the moot, given the fact that we didn't have those added things, like as Kyra said, the opening ceremony, so many teams around us, all of these things. But I think one thing which really motivated us was that the implication of the rounds would be the same, right? As in, we had been working for the past 6-7 months, and irrespective of whether we were arguing in Vienna or in our rooms, as in the implication was just the same. It was basically the result of the past 7 months of work that we had put in. So I would agree that by mid-March, we were all a bit low on morale, in the sense that we don't know if the moot is happening. Even if it's happening, it's virtual. So, I mean, we don't know if we should really care about it, and like all of those things. But I think, and in fact, the people around us also, they were like, yeah, all right, fine. If it happens virtually, it's good for you. But at the end of the day, Vienna is not happening. People just say it in a joking way, but at the end of the day, it does affect your morale. Yeah. But I think we had to constantly keep ourselves motivated, as in our team members, our researchers, all of the others in our team. They were always like, all right, fine. Like, we don't care if it's there or it's here. The implication is the same. We have breaks, we have results. It is the Wismoot. It is the 27th Wismoot at the end of the day. Right. So I think this is what can keep even practitioners quite motivated, in the sense that it does not really matter whether you're arguing in a court or like physically in front of arbitrators, because at the end of the day, they are real arbitrators. You will be dealing with real clients. It is a real case which will have legal implications. So I don't think it should lower your motivation or your preparation in any way, for that matter.
Perfect.